What about the people was good? Today I'll be talking about what to do when you are struggling in school. Struggling might be financial, might be academical, might be might be about your safety, might be mental, might be emotional. Whenever you are struggling with something and it's really really affecting your main goal of being in school, which is your academic performance, there are some things that you can do, and I know and I'm sure of these are the test proof or the proof test, whatever, that I've tried, and I know it works really really well. So before we go to that, if you are a new viewer that you're watching my video, kindly subscribe, press the subscribe button to subscribe, and make sure you turn on your notification button to know whenever I'm updating a new video. I release videos every 3 days. That's twice in a week, and on Sundays at times, but I release videos every 3 days, twice in a week. So today I'll be talking about what to do if you are struggling in school, or you are having a problem in school that is affecting your academics. Number one is that if you are in school, there are times when problem will actually arise. And this video is for most of the people who are actually in the preliminary stages, who are in the 100 level, 200 level, and 300 level, right? You see, when you are in 400 level or 500 level in some schools, some schools usually have scheduled 5 years for pursuing a degree course in those universities. So if you are in 400 level or 500 level, I wouldn't advise, like most of these advice are not going to be applied, are not going to apply to you. I'm going to tell you the reason why. And the reason is this. Firstly, if you are struggling academically, if you are struggling academically in any course, or in any school, or in any department, or in school, if you are struggling academically, what do you have to do? You have to work more harder. And if you know you are working hard enough and you're not getting the result that you want, then that means the point is that if you can't struggle hard enough and not be getting the result that you want, the only problem is have to do with how you are planning your life. Maybe you're spending more time on unnecessary things, or the things that are not actually going to add any value to your academic journey, and are not going to contribute to your journey of achieving success at the end of every semester. That is what you are spending your time on. If that is what you are going through, kindly just kindly speed up, be more intense in your studies, work more hard, read hard, join groups. Don't stay out of study groups. I do this at times, but I used to do this while I was in pre-degree and 100 level days. But when it gets to 200 level, I was in MLS, medical laboratory science, and things are really really getting hard. That's when I know, these things I can't really really do it. Like I can't just be doing it alone again, because you will go to class, attend classes, and after leaving class you will get home, read book, and at the end of the day you find your mates. They will be doing some study groups, and they'll be talking about some things that you feel, this topic I've read about it and shit like that. You just get close to them, you hear some terminologies or some scientific or medical terminologies from them. You'll be looking at yourself, you'll be looking like a fool, like, come on, like, where have you read this? And they'll be telling you that you were taught in class. You were in class then and you were paying attention, but it just happens like magic. I don't know how that usually happens, but it usually happens to me. So what you have to do is that you have to click in and immerse yourself fully in your studies, and with that you can easily solve that problem. But if it is psychologically, if you're having psychological problems, I'm not saying psychiatric problems, psychological problems, maybe you are thinking about something, you have something that is really really bothering your mind, then you have to solve that thing. And if it's emotional, or maybe you have issues with your girlfriend or something like that, I would advise you to go for whatever is on top as priority for you. If you're having issues with your relationship with your girlfriend, and that is really really affecting your the way you handle your studies, then you have to drop one for the other. Either you fail your course, or you hold on to your girl, or you fail your course, hold on to your girlfriend, or you lose your girlfriend and hold on to your course. You can actually do both, but in this video I'm talking about if you are actually struggling for such kind of a reason. Emotional problems that can affect your ability to perform well in school can be of several can be from different sources, can be for different reasons, several reasons. mm? Even emotionally, the emotional struggle can be for several reasons. It might be for because of some pressure that you're getting from your parents, or some bullying, or some whatever whatever it might be. You have to, if it is something that is voluntary. What are voluntary things? The things that you can live out of choice, like girlfriend, like some friends that that doesn't like you anymore, or some friends that are conspiring against you, or something like that. Or anything that you can move on from. Those things are actually voluntary. So if you hold on to such things, and those things are affecting your academic performance, then it is your problem, not anyone's problem anymore. It's your problem. So you have to solve that. But if it is involuntary problems, like maybe your parents, I actually went through such kind of a kind of stage that, for some reasons, I have someone who is very, very close to my family. And let me say, he's my family member actually. And that person used to tell a lot of lies about me. That person has never come to my school to visit me, has never been to my school before. Maybe even if he has been to, maybe he has been to Ogbomoso, where he used to be the student, or a student of Lautech, then maybe it would have been maybe like twice or thrice, and that would have been like 10 to 20 years ago. So this person would formulate a lot of lies, fabricate a lot of lies, tell my parents, this boy is doing this. And at the end of the day, most of those things are usually flimsy. Even if those things are true, those things are not something that they are not punishable offenses in the setting of our family, in the moral setting of our family. I just realized that my parents were just reacting funny. They were doing the things that I don't expect them to do, inflicting some pains on me. What I just felt was like, okay, no problem. So on one holiday, it actually got financial, right? They started reacting financially in the way that I don't want. So one holiday, what I did was I got a job during a strike, during one of our strikes. Latex strikes a lot now. So during the strike and breaks, I used to get work jobs, get some work, and any money I make from that, I'll be using it to support my academics when the school resumes. And that actually alleviates the pain of the pressure that I'm receiving from my parents. But it got to a point that they later realized that, okay, all these things that we've been doing to this way is not really, really affecting him. So they withdraw all their financial support. I'm going to talk about that in another video. But the point is that when you are going through emotional problems like this, the best thing is to break away from that thing. I'm not going to lie to you, no matter what that thing might be. No matter what that thing might be, break away from it. And if that thing is something you can't break away from, for example, my parents now, then back then I don't have a job. I don't have any skill to make me money. So what do I have to do is to get a skill that can actually fund my academics 100%, or I drop out. So that is it. You have no option if such kind of a thing happens to you. When you are going through pains or emotional pressure or problems or psychological problems from sources that you can't cut off, or even if you cut them off, they are still going to affect you, because even if I cut them off or something like that, they are still going to affect my academics, right? So cutting them off will not actually solve my problem totally, right? So I have to getting a stable income source is what is the solution to such kind of problem. So that kind of problem is actually emotional, because no child will be happy about it when your parents are giving you attitude and showing some kind of putting some kind of giving you some kind of isolation reactions, and for no reason. You ask them why this, why that, they can't explain, just talking some gibberish like that. It can be disrespectful when you say your parents is talking gibberish in Africa, but fuck it. Then another thing is when you're struggling financially. When you're struggling financially, you have to know what exactly the problem is. If it is the fact that the parents didn't have enough, or the people who are sponsoring you, it might not be your parents, didn't really have we're not having enough to sponsor you anymore. You know, what do you have to do? Get a job. Get a job. And if you are in such departments, or you are studying a course that you can't get a job along with, you have to figure yourself out and look for a way to get more income, so in such a way that it's not going to affect your study time and your academic schedules. And if you realize that it is going to affect it, maybe you work harder in school if you are going to be able to win some scholarship or something like that. Yes, or there used to be some semester per semester scholarship or per session scholarship back then while I was in Lautech. I've seen it, most of it are not actually conducted by the school, by some external bodies. Just meet a lot of all these intelligent, book reading, all these people who are passionate about books, who read books, or who read all the time, who love reading, who love academic intelligence. Ask a lot of them. They used to know about these. A lot of them used to know about the scholarship thing. So you apply for one of them, work hard, get it. You're going to get some money from it. And if you can't do that, or you know that maybe the time is really really too close or something like that, you can't finance yourself, you have to feed yourself, you have to pay for this, you have to pay for that, drop out and get a job. Drop out and get a job. If you know that the people who are funding you can't actually do it anymore, and your support, adding your own financial support with the support they are giving you to fund yourself, to support yourself, it won't be enough. Instead of trying to wriggle it out, figure it out, spending 7 years instead of 4 years or 5 years, 8 years instead of 4 years or 5 years, at the end of the day coming out with a third class or a pass, then drop the fuck out. Drop the fuck out. You can always go back to school anytime. But a lot of people used to see this thing and say, there's no big deal. There's no big deal. There's no big deal. I'm not saying you should drop out, but when the situation calls for it, you have to. I'm sorry, I have to tell you the truth. I've seen people who have actually wasted like 8 years in school and eventually they drop the fuck out after 8 years. Not because they are not intelligent, no, but they have a lot of pressures, and what they want to do is that they want to be dragging everything along. That's it. They want to be dragging everything along like as if they are on top of their games. Well, they are not. They are lying to themselves. So that is it. If you are going, that's that for that. If you are going through financial problems, so if you are going through safety problems, what you have to do is very simple. Whatever you have done, if you are the one at fault, maybe you are having a clash or you're having problems with cultists and shit like that. They are cultists, violent cultists, illegal cults in a lot of Nigerian universities and a lot of Nigerian high institutions. If you're having a problem with cultists in schools, what do you have to do? Go to your student union. Some people might be saying, if you go to student union, they are the people behind student union, No. Of course, that is true. They usually have political alienation and political alignments and support with political connections with the people who are in the SUG. But no matter what, just report. Even if you report to the SUG, would even be a better. What's the name? I've solved many cases like that. I used to. I wasn't holding any post in the Lautech SUG, but I've solved many cases like that. When people will have issues with the people who belong to one court or the other or something like that, and my advice is go and report to any school authority, and if you are not, in case those guys might be sanctioned or they might not even eventually be sanctioned, because we used to hear that a lot of lecturers are even into all these courses and blah, blah, blah. But the point is, report to the student union. If your school is not having, if your school is not having a student union association or student union government, report to the necessary school. The school authority, the national school authority. And if you don't know whomever to report to, I won't advise you to report to your class captain or your class rep. You see why? Because your class rep, you know each other, right? You are too familiar with each other, and those kind of people, they are more or less being able to betray you along the line. Not that they will betray you because they want to harm you or because they have anything to gain, but because I've seen a lot of all these class captains or a lot of leaders in schools, whom, for the fact that they know you well, and they can pacify you, like, I'm sorry for not being able to do anything to change the situation and shit like that. These people can actually be like, instead, you went ahead to him to help you out and maybe to seek for settlement with the people you are having clash with or something like that. Some of them might just go to some of them at times, but really actually might belong to such kind of a group. And even if they are not belonging to such kind of a group, I used to see the class reps, like the people who don't have the liver enough and they don't have the boldness enough to handle such matters, and at the end of the day they usually end up just appearing to you like everything is under control. But they are going to go to those people like, this guy said he offended you, and once those people say, so what do you want us to do, we are going to treat this work, it's going to be like, okay, I just said I should intervene, not to appear like you are not. He's not going to say that in your presence actually, or you might not be aware. I just want to intervene so that you don't look bad. You guys can sort things out for you. So that means he's giving them the go ahead to deal with you, to fuck you up. So I will ask you to go ahead with the student union government, or reporting to lecturers, or don't even report to lecturers, report to the student union authority. The student union authority. At least you probably, it might be hard for you to see the VC, but any common official, don't report to such people. Don't report to such people. Those kind of people will they will give up along the way when the heat gets when things get tougher, and the temperature of the issue increases. But if you report to the student union, those people, most of the people who are in student, those guys are actually tough to some extent as well. Even though, no, I'm not saying they are cultists, but even most, if you can find cultists among them, maybe few, maybe 1 of 100 or 5 of 100. But the point is, they're actually tough enough as well. Even though a lot of them, you still used to have some connections and know all these cultists very well. But the point is, they were going to be able to help you out. So that is it about it. And if it is not cultism or something, no matter whomever is having issues with. So if you have someone, I used to, while I was in high school, I used to have a very short height. I used to have a very short height, and I get bullied a lot. While I was in high school, and thank God, before I got admission into into the university, I gained a lot of height. Now I'm close to 60 inches. I'm not, but I'm close to. So the point is, if you are having issues with an individual who bully you around and do a lot of things like that, report him to the necessary authority, and after then try to get yourself some martial arts, some fighting skills. Maybe you join a boxing team or something like that you are going to be learning that. Even actually, that is one of the lessons and one of the educations that you should be taught in life. Three fundamental educations that a parent or a guardian should give to a child should be education, the education that can put food on his table. That is the reason why you're actually going to school. Then education of defending himself. Then education about his spiritual life. It might be about religion. It might not be about religion. It might be about just meditation alone. It might be whether you're Muslim or a Christian. You have to know that life is not just physical, and that's the fact. A lot of people like to, but the point is, I'm not saying one religion or one whatever, but there is a spiritual life, and you have to be taught about it and how to handle things that are spiritual. And even if you are not able to handle things that are spiritual, but you have to be taught, not made to believe. You have to be taught and see things that some things are actually spiritual. So that when you encountering something like that, you don't start freaking out when you grow old, because then your beliefs on the fundamental things that you have in your life would have been so strong that it will be hard for you to change your belief to something else. So that is it. So if you are not having issues about only cultism alone, and you're having issues with with an individual, the best things you can do is to get yourself a martial arts, exercise regularly, make yourself stronger, no matter how short you are, no matter how thin you are. Of course, I've taken down with a lot of giants. Of course, people know me a lot. I fight a lot. There are times when I used to, all these problems and the hurts that I have gotten from high school. There was a time when all these things started popping into my head. I was going through a lot of problems as at then while I was in Lautech as well, and this was around the beginning of the year 2016 or so. I was going through a lot of problems then. So then what happened was that a lot of the bullying that I went through during the while I was in high school, I started throwing all these hurts out, all this bitterness, and then I used to get into fights like every week. I get into fights every week, at least one fight a week. Not because I just wake up in the morning then go out to and fight people. No, things are not like that. But my reaction, I was just too overzealous. I lacked this patience to accommodate people, just to let things go, just to let things slide. Just a little thing someone do for me, I'm gonna land a blow or a punch on that person's face. It got to a point that I'm actually afraid of myself, not afraid of other people, but afraid of myself. Why? Because I didn't want to get injured. Because I know if I step out, I might get into a fight with someone else. So I used to, I start freaking out on if I'm gonna get out to interact with people or not. That was back then in 2016, but with time, I get over it and I know how to handle things better in life. So if that is the challenge that you are going through, which is the security issue or safety issue, you just get yourself some martial arts and some self-defense training and report to the right school authority. With that, you'll be able to get things done. So whatever challenges that you're having, you can drop it in the comment section below. I'm gonna drop my email in the description below as well. So any questions that you have, you can send it to me and I will be happy to respond to it. Thank you. So, and as well, before I go, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn on your notification button to get notified whenever a new video is dropped.